Our incredible guest speaker on the program lists all of Dr. Sayson's accomplishments, and truly an amazing list here. From being Lieutenant Commander in the Coast Guard, to working with NASA, many different International Space Station programs, to being a loud advocate in our community for veterans and military memorials and keeping the stories alive, to the last one here, probably the most important, being a servant of Jesus Christ. You know what, I don't feel very qualified to actually welcome Dr. Sayson, so I'm going to welcome someone who I think is truly qualified to welcome him. So Leah Kennedy, come on up here.
Hi guys, welcome. I've known Jojo Sayson for about 10 years now, and I've been helping him and his foundation, Project Michelangelo, for about 5 years now. We've sent books and many different school supplies overseas to many kids who are less fortunate than us. And we've also sent many baby clothes and baby formula to those less fortunate. He has helped so many people in our community, and he seeks out those who aren't seen. He is an amazing influencer in our community, and I am privileged to welcome Mr. Jojo Sayson.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. My name is Jojo Sayson. With all the different descriptions of who I am and what I seem to have accomplished in America, the only title that I really want to be addressed is a Christian apologist. I'm a defender of Jesus Christ. That's the only thing. When I'm asked all the time, what do you want to be described? How do you want to be described? A servant of Jesus Christ. Okay, well, before we start, thank you so much to our U.S. veterans, and I know there's a small population here that represents all of our U.S. veterans, but before all of this, today is the 247th birthday of the U.S. Marine Corps. So let's, do we have Marine Corps people here? We have one, Commander Zazada. Anyone else who's Marine here? Okay, just one Marine? You're right, okay. Can you stand up, Commander Brian? Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, just keep on, this is for the basement. When I say U.S. Marine Corps, you say, "Hoorahs, hoorah," as loud as you can. I'm going to say it to you, let's practice. U.S. Marine Corps! Okay, I'm going to do U.S. Marine Corps 3 times, and you're going to say, "Hoorah," but as loud as you can. It needs to be heard all over the world. U.S. Marine Corps! U.S. Marine Corps! U.S. Marine Corps! That's much better. Thank you, Commander. Thank you so much to the staff of Grace Christian Academy for your kindest invitation. And I know that everything in this world happens for a reason. And if you open yourself to the power of the Holy Spirit, you will be guided. And the Holy Spirit will connect the right people together to deliver a message of hope and a grateful heart. So today we're going to thank the veterans, but before all of that, we need to understand why we need to thank the veterans. And to know why, we have to understand what a country is. We belong to the greatest country in the world, the United States of America. That is true. And how do you know it's the greatest country? A lot of naysayers out there said it's not the greatest country. Well, the greatness of any country or any nation is determined by how many people want to get in than how many people want to get out. Can you find any other country where people are just really breaking the door so they can get in? None. That's point one. We are the greatest country. Number two, there is such a thing that I did because I'm an immigrant from the Philippines. I immigrated in 1986. I went through the front door, and there was this thing called the American dream. You've heard it before, right? What does that mean? That means you go to a place where you have freedom. And what does freedom mean? Many people don't know what freedom is. They think freedom is to do anything you want. Wrong. Freedom is the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness without being infringed. That means you can go to the store and buy the things you want without getting shot or getting harassed. You can go to school without anybody telling you cannot go to school. You can work to be the best you can and will be without people telling you you cannot be. So you are able to do the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness protected by the laws of God. We are a democracy. It means that the will of the people, the majority, would take precedence. But it's not a pure democracy, just to be honest with it. We have a representative democracy because it's not just majority rules. We elect people to represent certain majorities of different states to take care of the law. So we are a constitutional republic. That means it's the will of the people with representation of their government officials and defined by laws. So you know what's right and wrong, what's protected and it's not. And the foremost is life, liberty, and property. And what does that mean? Life, that means you have the right to live. And what are we trying to do? There's now contention that the unborn is not a living human being. It is life. Even NASA is spending millions and millions of dollars to find life out there when all we need to do is look down there and there is life. It's the unborn. Liberty. Again, we're able to pursue the things we want. I am an immigrant from the Philippines and I love where I come from. Be proud of your heritage. But that is your heritage. You're now in the United States country. And what is the motto of the United States? The first one is E pluribus unum. You remember that? E pluribus unum, it means from many, one. We come from different nations, different heritage. When we're here in the United States, we are one. We are now Americans. But what's happening out there? What's being pushed by the world is we're all different and you fight for your differences. Well, by golly, whatever you look for, you will find it. Even for a good man, if all you think is that's a bad man, all he's going to do is be defined as bad. But it's actually our minds. Life, liberty, and property. What does that mean? It means that if you work hard, you are now able to enjoy the fruits of your labor. It is not given away to anyone who wants it, who did not earn it. So there you go. So how do we make our children understand the country? Jesus Christ taught us wisdom by using parables, stories, simple stories that deliver the wisdom. So the first rule is you can never have wisdom if you do not have fear of the Lord. That's number one. I'm an immigrant here and I have fear of the Lord. There are two types of immigrants you'll see. Immigrants who are here to work hard for life, liberty, and property, and immigrants who just want you to make their lives better without effort. Where is the value of the things you have? It's when you work hard for it. So I'm a good immigrant. I never thought of an idea of, let's have Uncle Sam give me money, food, everything. No. I worked hard for it. There were ups and downs, and I've seen excuses from quite a lot of people, and even propagated by media. Anything is somebody like a color of a skin privilege. I did not see that. Otherwise, I would not have achieved the things that I have if how I look like and my physical attributes disqualified me. I did not see that, and I did not find any law saying that, to make that clear. Okay, coming back to the parables. To understand a country, let's make it into a story. The country is your house. Under the Fourth Amendment, you have the right for your property, a house, and a house is a man's palace. Sometimes a woman's palace, it depends on your relationships. But it is in the Fourth Amendment. You can enjoy the fruits of your labor, and no one is going to take that away from you because it's yours. If you take away the ability of a person to enjoy their fruits, and there will be no more country, that's going to be mob action, that's going to be maybe communism and socialism. And I can speak clearly on that because I've been to other countries where they practice that. You do not want to be there if you're enjoying what you have here. So again, a house, what does that mean? The family is the unit. The dad is the president. The mother is the vice president. Sometimes the roles are reversed in the house. The children are the constitutional citizens. That is your home, that is your house. Because I was asked by my daughter one time, why can't we just open the borders, for example? Okay? So, because she's surrounded by these ideas in Chicago. Well, so I gave her this lesson about the house. I said, darling, you know that Daddy is a humanitarian. I help a lot of people. Okay? Let's look at the house as the country. I am the president. Your mom is the vice president, treasurer, and everything else. Whatever she tells the president, it's okay. And the children are in the house. That is the country. Since Dad likes to help people, Dad still helps hundreds and thousands of people, but Dad does not invite all of them to live in our house. There is a place for them as well. Number two, when we sleep, or even when just in the sanctity of our house, we lock our doors. Do you want our door to be open that anyone can come in, eat the food, or even withdraw money from your checking account that you work for? Just anybody can do that? That's lawlessness. So she began to understand. So this is what the country is. This is our home. There is a way to have people inside your home. It's called vetting the people. It has to be people that you know, that will follow the rules, and will help out with the house. So that's in effect, that is my message for you. And it's not about hating people, it's helping people the right way. But first, we protect the sanctity of the home as much as the sanctity of the school. You don't just open the door and just have anyone come in and teach the children anything anyone would like to. There are rules to follow. So we are a country of rules that I subscribe to. Okay, I have I think 20 minutes total, so maybe another a little bit close to 15 minutes. It's easy to give information whether you reject it or accept it. But I'm going to talk about what we're using to understand this. It's called the mind. The newest battleground is the human mind. And we know that an idle mind is the playground of the devil. Well, I'm going to put a little science to this. The human mind, then the brain, was designed to survive. It is designed to fill in the blanks if we do not know it. First, we know that each individual person is a human being because, as Descartes defined it, I think, therefore I am. So you know your individuality, your own identity. And when I speak about identity, it means who you are. You are a human being with a sentient mind, with intelligence. You are aware. I think, therefore I am. In Latin, cogito ergo sum. But I will give you a different definition. You are created by God, because if you are not created by God, if no one created you, then you willed yourself to exist. And I don't think anyone willed themselves to exist. You were created. So when it comes to a definition, when God was asked by Moses, said, Lord, the Israelites are asking who you are. What should I tell them your name is? And God said, I am who I am. There's no one else. I am who I am. That's the name of God. In Hebrew, the name of God is unpronounceable. Y-H-V-H. We call it Yahweh. We added the vowels. In Hebrew, there are no consonants. So I asked the Hebrew professor one time, how do you pronounce the name of God? And she said, we do not have vowels, so this is how you pronounce the name of God. It is pronounced What does that sound to you? The sound of a human breath. It means that whether you believe in God or not, you have to say His name. Otherwise, you will die. So the first enunciation of an infant and the last enunciation of a dying person is the last breath and the first breath. The name of God. That is the signature of God saying, I created you. If you do not say my name, you will die. So quietly you are breathing, you are actually calling out God. I have accepted my mission on earth because life is short. I am a messenger. I've accepted the Holy Spirit as the most powerful thing in the universe. And even the atheistic quantum physicists will say that the unseen world controls the seen world. That's spirituality. So let's talk a little bit about the mind, right? So you know that you are created by God. But the mind is also susceptible to suggestions. The mind always fills in the blank. Let's say, for example, somebody didn't talk to you, and that somebody is a good friend. What will your mind do? It will fill in the blanks. Perhaps this, perhaps that, until you start believing it. Once you believe it and you put an emotional tag to it, you cannot remove it. And this is my point today. I want you all to be critical thinkers. It means that before you place an emotional peg on it, because once you put an emotional peg on something, you cannot change it. Even if your factors outside or your evidence is there, they're still not going to accept it. So before you believe completely and put your heart and soul and your passion, make sure you analyze. Is it true or not? You test. And how do you test it? Only by the laws of God. And you know the 10 Commandments. And of course, when the apostles asked Jesus Christ, of all the 10 Commandments, Lord, what's the most important? What did Jesus say? He synthesized the 10 Commandments into 2. He said, place the Lord thy God in all your things say and do. And then the second one was, treat others like how you want to be treated. So for testing of anything that's placed upon us or suggested upon us is you have to use a screen. Does it comply to that? That's called critical thinking. If you suddenly believe anything in social media, which people believe more than the Bible, okay. Social media, television, they're the greatest brainwashing machines in the world. Because the human mind is susceptible to suggestions. Once you believe a suggestion, let's say one person is so evil, even with the evidence that's out there around them, you're still not going to budge. You're still going to fight for it. We have the freedom of speech. That means if you don't like something, you can do this to someone. But when that fist lands on that person, now you broke the law. It's okay. In weak times, strong people and heroes are made. Strong people and heroes create the good times. When everything is good, it creates weak people. So what am I saying? Mentality. If you have 100 lions led by a sheep, you're going to lose the battle. But if you have 100 sheep led by a lion, you will win. And that's what the prophets did in biblical history. Even though they were outnumbered, they believed in God. They trusted God. And how do we know the laws of God are true? Because God gave us an invisible conscience. Even those people who don't believe in God, there is still a conscience. Right is right, wrong is wrong. But the Bible is true because it even foretold what the world is going to be in the future. And the world, as in 2 Timothy 3, people will become lovers of self. That's why we even developed the word selfie. People will be boastful. People will have so much, will be proud of themselves. People will be disobedient to parents and authority. They will consider nothing sacred. That was a prophecy from within a couple of thousand years. So do you recognize that today, what's happening? People are lovers of self, and what used to be good will now be bad, and what was bad will be good. So I call that your reference would be the Bible, and should be the Bible all the time. Well, people say even that religion is irrelevant, right? You hear that? It's irrelevant in society. I'll give you an example, and you tell me if it's relevant or not. Let's say, for the parents, your daughter was driving a car, and it broke down, let's say, a part of Chicago that's really pretty bad at night. Imagine, okay, this is like a parable again. Your daughter's car broke down in the middle of nowhere, dark, dilapidated housing, and then 10 men, big men out of
So, if your daughter is broken down there and there's 10 men coming out of the shadows approaching your daughter, would it matter to you if those men came partying and came from a place where there's partying and drinking and using drugs? Or 10 men coming out of a Bible study? Which one would you prefer? So, is religion relevant or not?
It is absolutely relevant. So I want you kids to always think before you put an emotional peg on it. The mind, whatever the mind seeks, you will find. If you find anything, if you want to find something wrong, let's say you bought a dress and you want to see if there's any rips, you will find it. Same thing for a person. If all you peg that person is a bad person, the only thing you'll see and find are the things that are bad. Whatever you seek, you will find. But the greatest thing of it all is, if you seek the Lord, God said, you will find me. So in those times in your mind where you want to fill in the blanks, fill it with prayer. And I'll give you an example. The highest decorated human being in the Air Force was a friend of mine. He now has a statue in Moments. His name is Colonel James Castler, the highest decorated airman in U.S. history. And he was also a POW, a prisoner of war, in the Hanoi Hilton. I had the pleasure of taking care of him. And again, there's an invisible enemy called PTSD. You don't see it, and that's why we want to work with it. I asked him, Colonel, how did you survive? He said, okay to talk about it. I said, fine. He said, Jojo, every morning for 7 years, they took me to this room and they beat me all the time. They tried to hurt me and they blindfolded me and they were scared that they were going to kill me. But I never gave them the pleasure of begging for my life. And I prayed the Lord's Prayer from beginning to end loud. So the moment the torture began, he would say, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. He kept on praying and praying over and over and over again. And that's what I learned from Colonel Castler. On the times that you're feeling depressed or you are open to suggestions by the devil, it is real. The devil is real. You fill in the gaps with prayer. Fill the gaps in your mind with the Lord's Prayer. Over and over and over and over again. That's how you avoid the devil from suggesting so many things that are detrimental to who you are. Okay, lastly, I'm on my last couple of minutes. Children, this is your home, the United States of America. We are thanking the veterans for all their sacrifice so that you may enjoy the freedoms that you have, life, liberty, and property. Some of you may even become politicians, high-level people in the future. Even maybe one of you would become the next president of the United States. Always place God before all you do. Protect this house. Protect the sanctity of this home. We are all one, and we are not defined by our physical appearance. See if you can find that in the Bible, that our physical appearances matter. No, you can never find that in the Bible. So if it's not in the Bible, what is it? It's demonic. It's not in the Bible. It's made up by the world. We have to invite people to be together, not to separate them. And there are ways to help people, and it's not about bringing down our house. I have a project in the area. It's called the Ray Olley Memorial Project. We are building a military memorial in Kankakee. And I'd like to invite the school to participate. My commander, the Boots on the Run commander, Brian Zazad, is here to give out information. And the forefront is a World War II vet, Ray Olley. I was there when he died in '97. I was by his bedside singing a song for him. He was there with General MacArthur in the Battle of Leyte in 1944, the largest naval battle in the history, to save the Philippines from the tyranny of the Imperial Japan. So there's also a time for me to thank all the veterans who work with our veterans to save the Filipino people, without which there would be no Philippines to work with. I would not be here. So the story is about Ray. And the forefront is a World War II veteran because every single day, by the end of the day, we would have lost another 240 veterans. They're dying at that rate. In a few years, there will be no more World War II veterans. That's why I have a sense of urgency to do this. And we have a plan. And we'll talk to Principal Lost about it. It's a story about a 20-year-old veteran, U.S. Navy veteran, who fought in the war. He was in a ship. And before that, there was also a little cute thing. He found a puppy in New Guinea. And he hid the puppy as a stowaway. Fed the puppy, and the puppy became, well, it grew. The name of the puppy was Eleanor. That became his best friend and the best friend of the crew. Unfortunately, after the war, Ray developed PTSD because of the battles. His friends got killed and he did not. And on top of that, someone threw Eleanor into the Pacific Ocean to drown. And Ray was asleep. That's one of the first animal cruelty. So I can't even, when Ray told me that story, I cried. His best friend Eleanor was thrown out to die. Now, did that dog die in vain? No. Because the Ray Olley Memorial Project is going to feature a statue of Ray Olley, 20 years old, and Eleanor. I will bring Eleanor back. And we will remind the children to love this country and wake up to be kind to animals and God's creation and have information. So, I'm going to end my talk by asking the young ones, use your mind, be a critical thinker. Never allow emotions to rule you and fighting for it even if it's wrong. If somebody tells you you're wrong, analyze it. Maybe they're right. If they're right, thank them. If not, it's your duty. The baton is going to be given to you, the young ones. Love this country. Some of you may fight wars in the future, but it is because of our house, the United States of America, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless you all. This is Jojo Sayson.